Hi there, welcome back to Rum & Code. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be going over chapters 3 and 4 of the Learn-Qwik website. So last time we went over chapters 1 and 2, which are the getting started and CSS styling chapters, and today we're going to be going over optimizing fonts and images and creating layouts and pages. So with that, let's get into it. In this chapter, we're going to go over different ways to add custom fonts, different ways to add images, and how to optimize loading of fonts and images to improve performance and user experience. Why should you optimize fonts? Well, fonts are obviously super important. It's what everyone's going to be reading, and they can push things around on the screen, which is this cumulative layout shift, which is a metric used by Google to assess performance and user experience. As you can see, sometimes it can push things around. And down here's a video that shows like, hey, he's trying to click that he does not want to order these, but then a layout shift happens. Obviously that was not because of the font, but it gives you the idea of why it's important. So you can optimize font loading by using a font display property to control how the fonts are loaded. Common values include swap or fallback, and there's pros and cons to both. To further improve performance, Qwik recommends self-hosting your fonts. That way you can avoid a lot of these, and it especially helps in performance web app scenarios. So let's go down. Let's take a quiz. Why is it recommended to self-host fonts? Well, you can reduce external dependencies and improve privacy and performance. That sounds good. What is community layout shift? And how can self-hosting fonts minimize this? And what is the effective using the font display? Let's try this. Yay. All right. Going down here. So Google Fonts is a popular open source library offering 1,500 font families. While they're easy to use, they involve downloading CSS file and fonts from different domains, causing a noticeable delay when switching in font loading despite using swap. So here's what happens. You load the link, and then it realizes, hey, that link is coming from this other site, so that has to do another request. So it can be done, but ideally self-hosting can reduce that. So let's go down to self-hosting. Rather than using a third-party provider like Google Fonts, we can self-host our fonts. That means we download them ourselves and serve them from our own domain. You get improved performance, more privacy as Google tracks font usage, and self-hosted fonts load offline, which is useful for progressive web apps or low connectivity situations. So Font Source makes that pretty easy because it's just an npm install. They have all the Google fonts as well as a lot of other open source fonts. So let's see how to add a primary font with Font Source. To add a custom font to your Qwik application, you need to download the font and add them to your project. For your dashboard, let's use the variable version of the enter font source. So first, let's install that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to move my terminal over so you guys can see it. And I can just npm install that as they wanted it. So now to actually use that, we need to add it to our CSS file. So let's go ahead, open this, bring that over, go to my global CSS, and paste that in. Now I should be able to use the enter font in your Qwik application. So let's go ahead and add this body tag. And then by adding enter to the body, that should update the way our site looks here. So if I go, oh, there we go. We can see that that definitely happened. Let's see if I can give a good before and after. So if I comment that out and re-enable it. So there you go. You can see the before and after of applying that. Let's go ahead and add a second font now. This one we're going to be hosting directly inside of our application with the actual font files. That's helpful because sometimes your design team might have a specific font they want you to use that they have a copy of, and you're going to have to add to your repo directly. So For this one, we're going to be getting it from the Google Web Fonts helper. So let me go ahead and open that up here. Do a little split view so we can see what all they want us to do. Let's find the Lusitania font. And they also want to make sure that we get the 700. And then we can customize our CSS here. You can see whatever adds this URL. And for us, we're going to want this in our assets/fonts folder. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to copy over my CSS here. Let's go to our global CSS file, paste this in. Let's go ahead and download this, which, there we go. I'm going to pull that up. All right. And inside of my code again, we're going to need to go ahead and place that in the correct spot. So it's going to go into a fonts folder. And let me just copy and paste those in here. And then we're going to go ahead and make like a .Lusitania class, but so just to make sure I don't mess it up, I'm going to steal it directly from this reveal answer. So let's go ahead and reveal the solution. We did this part already. So here we go. We're adding Lusitania, make sure we're setting it to serif, and then adding some like other browsers, you know, WebKit and Mozilla, to make sure it looks good in all modern browsers. So here we go. And then they want us to add the .Lusitania class to the P, which is right above the LRD-Qwik. So let's pull this up, make this side by side, go to my index here. And if I go ahead and add now the Lusitania font, I think I spelled that properly. Just to verify. There we go. That looks a lot better. And there we go. So now we are hosting that directly. And if we go ahead and open our network tab and refresh, we can see that yes, it did indeed load those fonts. So there we go. That was adding a font ourselves. Let's go ahead and go back to the class here. All right, now that we have the Lusitania font installed, we can do the LRD-Qwik logo. That was utilizing the Lusitania font, so before we were not able to do that, but now we can. So let's go ahead and download this, and we'll add that to the source assets SVG folder. So go ahead and open this up, find my repo, SVG, I'll copy and paste this. Looks like it does need to be renamed, so let's go ahead, do that real quick. All right, and then inside of our index here, we should be able to now go ahead and import that and uncomment this out. And if we look now, there we go. We can see the LRD-Qwik logo is now there. So there we go. Congratulations, you have successfully added custom fonts inside of your Qwik application. Why optimize images? In Qwik, optimizing images is crucial for reducing file sizes and improving loading performance on networks, especially mobile. So we can use this through the Vite Image Tools module. A lot of this is just going to be done automatically for us as long as you're having those files hosted directly inside of your Qwik application. So we can upload an image, put it inside of our source folder. When you do that, it'll automatically make multiple versions of that for you at different breakpoints. You use the standard image tag, and that automatically will do things like loading equals lazy and decoding equals async, so it does not block rendering. And then all you have to do is add a question mark JSX suffix to the end of the image to enable image optimization. So to see this in action, let's go ahead and add the desktop hero image. So we're going to go ahead and download this. And once again, we're going to add this into our source assets folder. We're going to make a new folder called image. All right, and let's go ahead and drag and drop that in here. And it looks like that was supposed to be called heroimage.png. So let's go ahead and just change that. And now we can import that. And let's go ahead and add that to the add hero images here. Looks like this is where it should go. And let's see what that looks like. There we go. Now we can see our hero image, and it does have the breakpoint for hiding it on smaller screen sizes, so we can see that once it gets small enough, it just goes away. Beautiful. So if you want to do a mobile one, let's see what we're going to have to do for that. So let's go ahead and download this image. We'll show in Finder again. And this one should be called hero mobile image.png. So let's go ahead and copy that. Put this over here, rename. All right. And then obviously we need to import that as well. You can see we're adding that JSX suffix again. Now this is kind of the opposite, where it's block unless it's MD, and then it's hidden. So, and if we take a look to see what that looks like, now we get small enough. Now we have this nice mobile image. So once again, real quick, easy auto image optimization, and there you go. So quiz time, using the JSX suffix when importing images enables automatic optimization. True. All right, and that was chapter 3. So let's go ahead and start creating layouts and pages. So chapter 4, creating layouts and pages. So far, we only have one page. It's not a great app with only one page, but let's go ahead and see what we can do about that. So in this chapter, we're going to create dashboard routes using the file system routing. We're going to understand the role of folders and files when creating new route segments. Create a nested layout that can be shared between multiple dashboard pages, and understand what co-location, partial rendering, and the route layout are. So, nested routing. Qwik also uses a file system-based routing system where the folders are used to create nested routes, each directly representing a route segment that corresponds to a URL segment. So we have our source, routes, dashboard, invoices. And you can see how that lines up in the URL path. You can create distinct user interfaces for each route using a .layout.tsx file for each of those routes. The index.tsx is a special file in Qwik that exports a Qwik component necessary for the route to be accessible. So in your Qwik application, in the main file for your home page would typically be located at the source route index.tsx, and this file is associated with the /route. To create a nested route, you can nest folders within each other and add an index.tsx file inside them. For example, adding a folder called the dashboard, and you create a new route with the index.tsx. So let's go ahead and create it, see how it works. So I'm just going to copy this over, go to my repo, source, routes, and they wanted it to be dashboard. So dashboard/index.tsx. Go ahead and paste that. And let's just visit it real quick to see what it looks like. And sure enough, we have our dashboard page, and I can update that to show you that that's not just automatically there, it is because of this route. All right, you can see that that's super easy to make routes. And lets you, when you do that, because this index.tsx is a special file that allows you to do co-location, where you can have the components, lib folders inside of that route. So let's practice creating some more pages. They want us to try making a customers and an invoice page. Both of those look like they're a child of the dashboard. So it should be pretty simple. Let's go ahead, add a new file, customers/index.tsx. Gonna go ahead and copy this over, make this say customers, and kind of do that again here with invoices/index.tsx, and once again copy invoices. All right, so we go ahead and see how that looks. We have our dashboard, and then we should be able to go to customers. That works. And how about invoices? That works as well. So we can see, make sure I did everything right, which, yes, we have our slash route, we have our dashboard, customers, and invoices. Both of these are a child of the dashboard. So now that we have a dashboard route with nested routes, you might want a dashboard layout. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to create a new nav links in here. So let's go ahead, get that going. So we're going to go ahead and copy, go into our repo, and they want this in the components, UI dashboard -nav links.tsx. Go ahead and paste that in, and we can take a look and see we're importing icons. We're making an array of links, and then each link has a name, the location of it, and the icon, and we're just mapping those out. So that's exactly what this says. And now we're going to create a side nav component. So let's go ahead and copy this, and this one's going to UI dashboard /side nav. So okay. Make sure I copy, paste. All right. So we have a link back to the home, we have our quick logo, and then we have our nav links. So, and then inside of our layout.tsx here, we're going to be making a dashboard layout.tsx. Now it looks like this is supposed to be dashboard according to that earlier. Yep. So let's go ahead and fix that. All right, and now the import side nav component, it's going to slide the layout component receives a slot, which acts like a placeholder for child components, in your case, the pages. So that's what this is talking about. The slot right here is where the actual page content loads, and the rest of this is just going to be outside of that. So if we load up our page now, hopefully it looks something like that. Let's take a look here. All right. So I did a little troubleshooting, and all I had to do was restart my server, and now, sure enough, this looks exactly how it's supposed to look with a working sidebar. So if something does not work for you, just try restarting your server. It might help. So now, as you can see, with that additional one layout file, we have 3 beautiful pages all sharing that same nested layout. So the benefits of using layouts in Qwik is during navigation, only the page components update while the layout does not re-render at all. So that's known as partial rendering. So it's just essentially swapping out what's in that slot. So the root layout in Qwik, in the previous chapter, you learned how to integrate global styles and configure essential elements that affect the entire application. This sets the stage for understanding the role of the root.tsx file in Qwik, which serves to globally configure the application, anchor all the pages and components. So you can see there with the Qwik provider, the router head, router outlet, service worker registration, etc. So, time to take a quiz. What is the role of the layout TSX? Share UI. Let's go ahead. All right, congratulations. You've learned how to create layouts and pages in Qwik. So there's obviously some more docs, some stuff about some advanced routing, different techniques you can use. They have the source code available. But otherwise, that was the end of Chapter 4. Next time, we'll go into Chapters 5 and 6. Otherwise, once again, thanks for watching my video. Hope you learned something, and see you next time.